Hi everyone. I'm starting a vlog. I got my computer back, so I'm happy to have my photo booth back. Of course, the one day I didn't have my laptop, I was like, get me my freaking, I need to film something. um, and yeah, I mentioned in my last video that I did something like really bad to my knee. I basically have a knee injury now. Um, I already cried about it this morning. It was like, it's not been the easiest day and a half for me. I've been like pretty much bedridden. Like I can stand up and walk very short stints and like can stand in the shower, but like cannot bend my knee very much, and walking really is not comfortable. So I've just been kind of like laying in bed for hours. And so anyway, I thought that I would start a vlog, but still via the photo booth. So in this style, but more like maybe over a few days, or like over some kind of particular time period, period of time, and tell you what I'm reading. So, or I'll just start with what I'm reading. So this is Want by Lynn Steger Strong. I won't read the blurb because I tried to talk about this book. Like I already filmed this like 6 times, and I just like could not. Describing this is not working right now. It's not good for me. So anyway, I'm reading Want. This is the book. It's like, okay, really briefly, it's about a woman who is married, lives in New York, has 2 kids, is a teacher, has a PhD, and then we are meeting her as she is like, what the fuck, I'm like, how did this happen? And how am I filing for bankruptcy? And she's kind of like, yeah, just sort of looking at her life and kind of like wondering what it is or how she got there, and like she's pretty angry about it. It's like from the first person. So the character is very good. I am reading this solely because Rebecca eats books, like stands this book. She loves Lynn Steger Strong and really loved Want, so it was time that I read it, and I got it from the library. Yeah, so anyway, I'm about 50 pages into that. I'm also reading Any Person is the Only Self. I'm just showing it because I forgot who the author was. Elisa Gabbert. Essays. The first one was kind of meh, and the other 2 were better, so I don't know. So yeah, anyway, that's boy, can I just hold this for you? Do you mind if can you just, yeah. Ouch. Oh, let there be light. Wow. I'm gonna go play with him a little bit. I can't really like run around, and I can't take him on a long walk right now. Stop. And yeah, I'm not used to vlogging anymore, so I need to remember that this is just one clip of many clips, and I just need to get off and not try to make the whole video while I'm sitting here. So bye. I'll talk to you later. Hi. It's the next day. It's Saturday. Look at my crazy hair. This is what happens when I wash my hair. I shake my head around. I put on a hat, walk my dog, and then take it off. And this is what happens to my head. Anyways, so here's my wackadoodle self for you on a Saturday afternoon. I filmed this clip already this morning, and I did that thing where you leave your wireless headphones like somewhere else in a bag in the other room, like on. And so I sat to edit this, and there was no sound, so I had to start over. An update on the knee. I am doing better today. It's not great, but I did manage to go on a tiny, short little walk with Jacob, my dog, who's a sleeping just pile of skin over there. Oish. I walked him up the hill to like a little park that's up here. And by the time I was coming home, I was like, okay, that's enough. Like, that's it. That's done. I cannot walk anymore today. So I've still been resting and icing, but it's definitely like progress from yesterday because I would not have been able to even like attempt to do that yesterday. So I have dog hair in my mouth. I did not get any more reading done last night of Want by Lynn Steger Strong. We decided to watch Eileen, the film adaptation of Otessa Moshfegh's novel Eileen. Let me know if any of you have seen it. My partner and I both love that book. I loved Eileen. That was like such a crazy reading experience. I just like really remember reading Eileen. And I would highly recommend it to anyone that hasn't read it. Trigger warnings, it's pretty dark. But anyway, we watched the film. We were expecting to hate it, which is why we didn't watch it when it came out. But actually, we didn't hate it as much as we thought. Like, I mean, it's definitely not like a perfect movie by any means, and not like maybe the perfect adaptation either. Definitely preferred the first half of the movie to the second half. The second half kind of like goes really fast all of a sudden, and then it's over. So, but I still thought like I liked a lot about it. I thought the main actress, Thomasin, is that her name? Thomasin Mackenzie or something? She plays Eileen. She's pretty spot on to like what both Ohad and I were like imagining when we were reading Eileen of what the character looked like. And I thought that she did a great job. I thought like the performances were good. Anne Hathaway is not who I would have thought of for Rebecca, but she was beautiful. Anne Hathaway. The accent was like kind of strange to me, but generally I thought like the performances were good and that the movie was like, yeah, I just enjoyed it way more than I thought I was gonna enjoy it. We can compare it to other movies and be like, it's not an amazing movie, but we had fun. So I got no more reading done. And then this morning I did that thing that you shouldn't do when you're reading a book, is like start a different book, because at least for me, like 95% positive that I will like DNF a book if I am like starting another book while I'm reading it. Does that make sense? Like it's something like I just shouldn't do that if I want to finish the current book that I'm reading. But this morning I felt like reading on my Kindle, so I picked up, I'll get it for you. Okay, this says If Only by Unknown, but it's If Only by Vigdis Hjorth. This is advanced reader's copy that I got on NetGalley. This comes out in September, beginning of September, like 6th or 8th or something, from Verso, who normally publishes the English translations of her novels. She's a Norwegian writer. Her book, Is Mother Dead, was like one of my favorite books of 2023. I enjoyed it so much. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, she has a new novel? Like, I have to read it. I'm gonna get the arc. And actually, it's not a new novel. It's new to English, for the English readers, because I think she published it in 2001 in Norwegian. So it's not a new book. It's just new to us that read in English. And it's like kind of described as like sort of Simple Passion by Annie Ernaux and Anna Karenina by Tolstoy, like heavy passion, longing. When I was staying with Sophie from Biblio Sophie in Brooklyn, I don't know if she's gonna do this video or not, so I hope I'm not spoiling it. If she's still going for this idea or still like putting together the list, or I missed it and she did it already. But when I was there, she was like brainstorming a list of books about longing, or like big on the longing. And I was also trying to think of like books that I could add to that list. And I would add this one. This is like big longing vibes. We're following a woman who, it starts off like she's in a train station that is really reminiscent of a train station she would go to when she was, I don't know, a decade or two younger. And it makes her think about who she was as that younger woman and what she would tell herself if she could have helped her, like if her older self could have been there to like kind of help her out of these big emotions. And it takes her into like a retelling of specifically a situation between like an affair that she starts in her 30s with like an older man, or she's in her late 20s or something. She's married. They're both married. They started an affair with each other. She's a playwright, like for radio. I think she writes radio plays. And she goes to a conference, and there's another man there, an older man who's like a translator of Brecht, and a critic, and yeah, they like have this affair and then go their separate ways. So I'm really at the beginning, I'm like 5% or whatever that means on the Kindle. So I'm just in the beginning stages of like this affair happening and then them going their separate ways and kind of sending each other letters. And she is like going mad, insane, crazy with longing for him. And it's just, she's preparing herself to like destroy her own marriage, and feeling the like repercussions of that before she's even done it. And yeah, so she's going just off the deep end with like longing for this man. And she's like, I think if I have this much passion like for him, then this must be love. Like I must have never been in love in my life. And so it's like, yeah, poses this question: if passion and love are the same thing, where do they kind of blend? Where are they different? I just like how she writes like very short sentences. Like, he walks by her, she sits. Like, it's very like bite-sized sentences that are quite like economical, and I really like that, like the way that she does it. And also this like question, like she has like lists of questions, like I don't know, she's going to meet this guy, and then she's like, did she feed her kids? Did she go to any parent-teacher conferences this week? Did she do the laundry? Did she like, and it's kind of like her questioning if she's like completely out of her, has she done any of her things, like her responsibilities? So yeah, I like Hjorth a lot. So when I saw this on NetGalley, I was like, yes, please, I must read it. We're gonna go to this really beautiful old cinema. It's called the Bird Theater, BYRD, here in Richmond. I have not been yet, but Ohad has been my partner once. And like there's like a live organ player there that like plays while you're entering. And it's a really old, like beautiful theater. And it's kind of like a cultural, like iconic building here in Richmond, and they're showing Princess Diaries tonight. So we're continuing on our Anne Hathaway kick after Eileen last night. And Ohad's never seen Princess Diaries, so like that is like an American, like a young American coming of age like staple. I feel I was like obsessed with that movie when I was young. I think I can manage to get in an Uber and arrive there and like just rest my knee while we watch a movie. So that seems like something fun we can do that doesn't require very much walking on my part. I'm gonna go ice my knee. Oh, I never talked about my tattoos. These are the 3 tattoos that I got while I was in Salt Lake City. My friend Jill, she's amazing. So she did this one, which is like a horse that's on a trophy horse. And I asked her to keep the plaque blank because I wasn't sure what I wanted to put in it, and I can always like add something later. But it's so detailed. It's so, you can't even see on this laptop like how detailed it is. It's stick and poke as well. She also did this on my hand, which is like one of her really beautiful, like more decorative designs. And then I also got a little car here. So yes, it's my era of tattoos. I'm stopping for now. But yeah, I guess something came over me in Utah. Big love. See you in the next clip. Bye. Hi, it's Monday. I have an obscene amount of dog hair on me. Wow, I should really do a lint roller. This is embarrassing. Okay, we're gonna embrace it. I straightened the hair because I was manifesting to be a different person who doesn't have a knee injury. It hasn't really been working. Update since I last saw you. Because of all the knee stuff, this is kind of like morphing into a week of movies and also reading. So I'll give you a reading update in a second. But the faster info I want to give is just about the films, like meaning like I won't go so in depth into them. But at the beginning of the month, my partner and I watched Kramer versus Kramer and Basic Instinct. I talked about them briefly, actually, on a little video I put on Substack. So I'm gonna, what's it called? Plug my own Substack if you want to go support on there. There's like a feature to become a subscriber where you get like extra videos in addition to these ones, and as well as if you're just a free subscriber, you can participate in the group chat and like have conversations with each other. And we're trying to kind of read a book together and in like an informal, not even book club, more like a group buddy read kind of way. So anyway, you're very welcome to go on there. I know some of you already are, so thank you. Tonight we might go see Maxine. I've actually not seen any of the other two, like X or Pearl, I think it's called. But I do want to see Maxine. I'm like very attracted to the vibe of Maxine. And I really like Mia Goth, obviously, so I should see this series. And I love Elizabeth Debicki, who's also in Maxine. So if we feel like doing something kind of fun, crazy, horror, 80s Hollywood, Maxine vibes, then we'll go tonight if my knee is okay. It just doesn't like to be bent in a bent position. So to sit in a theater is like, feels like it would be fine, but then I'm in the movie and I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of like not working for me. Reading update. I have been sucked into If Only, Vigdis Hjorth. Let me get my notes. I did take a few notes. Hobble on over here. This is one of my many journals. I tried to take a little bit of notes. I was super inspired by Sophie from Bibliosophie, because I just watched her recent 48 hours of reading vlog, and she read from her journal, and I thought that was so great and just such a nice way to get into her brain even further, and in a different way than when she just is speaking to the camera in the moment. And to get one's written thoughts is always a nice layer. I don't have something to read you. It's just this was more for me, but I was inspired by her to just journal at all about a book that I'm reading. I'm almost halfway through. This book is messy. And I think that this book is if Melissa Broder and Elena Ferrante had a baby, which is such a strange combination because they're so different. But I feel like If Only is Vigdis Hjorth writing a Melissa Broder-esque, very self-deprecating character, and writing her into Days of Abandonment by Elena Ferrante in this feverish way, but except the character was not left. The character ruins her own marriage and just blows everything up. Talking with Kieran from Kieran Reader this morning on Instagram, and she was I loved that book. It was super messy, and I was that's exactly the right word. It's messy. And she mentioned in her video that in contrast to
if mother is dead, which is like very pared back. This feels maximalist in the sense that like it's very, yeah, like cyclical, almost like exhausting. There's like a sense of exhaustion, like reading it a little bit. So I'm like feeling that, but also like totally sucked into it. Just to give like a little recap, our main character, Ida, she's just deeply in infatuation and passion with this man, Arnold. And we're basically in a big kind of flashback in this novel as her older self is recalling herself at 30 years old, and the like very messy, toxic, like feverish passion that she has in this what starts as an affair, and then they both leave their partners and still are like managing to be and not to be together. And she is just like, so I think that the cyclical nature of the book is kind of adding to this feeling like when you think that you're out of something and you think that you're like over this guy, then actually it just takes like one tiny little thing to just like shoot you back again into a frenzy over him. So that's exactly what's happening to her, and I feel like that's kind of like how the book goes. Like she climbs a bit out of him, of like her obsession with him, and then like we're just back again where we were. She has a lot of jealousy. It's like this feverish longing to a point of like self-destruction, and she also has these panic attacks that are really intense. And I think the writing, I need to get my Kindle, the writing on those passages is like really amazing. Suddenly she has to lie down and she can't get up. The children play in the garden. They come asking for biscuits or juice, but she can't help them. Wait a moment, Mummy is sick. She can't get up, can't speak. It lasts an hour and a half. It consumes her. It eats its way through her body. That is how it feels. It starts from the inside and devours, hollows out her body without anesthetic. She's convinced that she's going to become a new person. She's going to have like a new self. She's going to be the new Ida. And so there's a lot of passages about like the feeling, like how could you describe in words the feeling of when you realize that you're like a different person or you've become different. And there's a nice quote that I also wanted to read to you. An earthquake is rumbling. She is caught up in an avalanche. It is happening now, the destruction of the old. She isn't doing anything, it just happens. She is a mute, somnambulant part of it. She is free from her external past, but she has yet to step into her present. She has no idea about the future, and every kind of emotion whirls around in this space. And then she starts having panic attacks. Oh, here it is. She turns from it, but it doesn't go away. She closes her eyes, and still it doesn't go away. Is that what happened to me? Does that explain it? She spins on her own axis until she collapses from dizziness. It is still there. She dreams at night and wakes up in the morning filled with dreams and looks out at the swaying branches. It is coming. She rides her bike downhill, the wind in her hair. It is still there. She swims underwater. It is coming from inside her, though it feels as if it is cascading towards her from the outside like a pressure wave. It comes towards her and enters her body through her ears, her eyes, into her mouth, and down her throat, through the pores of her skin, into every cell, and chews up the old Ida. She is a new person. Whom do I tell that you have changed? Whom do you tell that you have changed? I'm not the person I used to be. Whom do you tell that you have turned into someone else? She meets one of her old nursery school teachers who says, "It's Ida, isn't it?" But she shakes her head because it isn't. That's why they refer to like Simple Passion by Annie Ernaux and Anna Karenina, with this kind of like destruction of a character. When everything revolves around or is for that person, even in exchange with others, like she'll prioritize only speaking to people who are in proximity to him so that she can get information from them, or maybe that she will share something and it will somehow get back to him. So this like crazed feeling of like if she can't have him, then she has to have everything that's like around him. And like plot wise, like they do meet, they do like end up kind of together again, and I don't know, it's just like very, very toxic. There's a high sense of like melodrama in the writing, which I think is really fun, like an exaggerated, which is kind of why I think of like a Melissa Broder character, like, quote, Saturday in June, sunshine in Oslo, she may as well die. So I just really like how, like, you know, how we read her, like, in such a dramatic, like, frenzy. Like, this is the weight of the world, this passion she has for this guy, Arnold. So anyway, it's funny, and it's also just messy. So I like that about it. I'll let you know when I finish it. Yeah, I hope I can keep pushing through the parts that feel to me like, oh, yeah, she's on a loop. She's stuck on a loop. She's repetitive. She's repetitive. She's repetitive. So these are like the moments where I need to, like, just keep going through it. So that's something to be kind of like, to know about it if you're going to read it. It's like it does have that kind of exhaustive, exhausting. Is exhaustive? Is exhaustive a word?
Do you want me to check?
I don't know. It's too late now because I said it to everyone. Is it?
Exhaustuous.
Exhaustuous. And yeah. Okay. Catch you later. It's Tuesday, July 9th. This morning I was doing a little bit of The Artist's Way, which I wanted to share, that I just felt like compelled to pick up this morning. So I was just doing a little writing, and my partner, who loved doing The Artist's Way, was like, by Julia Cameron. It's the book that it's kind of like, it's under a huge stack of things here. So no, maybe I should show it to you. The Artist's Way, Julia Cameron, A Spiritual Path to Higher Creativity. Many people know this book. It's kind of like a workbook about sort of rehabilitating your own artist. And I've had, oh, it matches my sweater perfectly. My partner did this and really enjoyed it. And yeah, like, has been slightly nudging me to do it, but didn't want to push too much. And like this morning, I just felt like I needed that. Like, I needed to just read like a chapter. So I started again and enjoyed doing that. So yeah, I'll keep you updated on that. And oh, someone mentioned to me that they have like a hard time with like the God aspect of this book. And I can understand that, because she does talk about God and like the creator, because that's relevant for her. For me, somehow it's very easy for me to like filter God into like whatever that means for me, like whatever, I mean, yeah, like, yeah, for me it doesn't feel so much like a work or like a hindrance that there is that kind of element of spirituality in this book. Like, as someone who doesn't align with like Christianity, as like I didn't grow up in that faith, I don't practice that faith, it doesn't deter me from this. And I just kind of like, I just very fast like replace things with like what resonates with me, which is like what she wants you to do as well. I just filmed my favorite books of 2024 so far, which was easier than I thought. Like, filming those videos is always really, really hard, but I just tried to speak really fast. Speak really fast and just, like, get things out and, you know, whatever. Fuck it, just whatever. Because I can stress myself out about, like, being really, like, succinct and, like, have really, like, crystal clear things to say about each book, and some of them are, like, months ago I read them. So I did that, and now I must go to the clinic, the walk-in clinic. I don't know if I shared this, but the specialist for my knee that I was like waiting to go see, I don't know how it happened, but like I booked
a doctor like in a different state. Like I'm in Virginia and I booked it in Maryland, which is like actually not that far. Like I think, but it's like a 2-hour drive and I don't have a car and I can't sit with my knee like bent like that in a vehicle for that many hours anyway. So I would just like felt kind of really bummed that somehow I just fucked up and like was waiting for an appointment that's no longer happening. So I was recommended like a walk-in clinic that is good for orthopedic stuff. So I need to go there. And it's feeling a little bit better today, which is why I'm hesitating getting in an Uber and going. But I just need to do it. So I'm going to get off here now. I'm going to call the Uber and I'm going to go see someone. And that's it for now. So I'll be back soon. Okay, hi. So we saw more movies. I forgot to mention that we saw Nomadland. It kind of like slipped my brain, which kind of goes a little bit with like how I felt about it, which was I thought that I would love it so much more. Like I really thought that was gonna be like a really me movie. And of course it's like a very like impressive, I still think like very beautiful and impressive like filmmaking and obviously performance, but by Frances McDormand. But I just didn't feel like so moved as I like was expecting to. And also this is the thought that I had, which was I feel like the way it's edited makes the cuts very like sometimes very fast, like very short clips with like fast cuts, but inside like quite a slow movie with like lots of space, which I normally really like. But something about like the fast cuts sometimes, like we were talking about, my partner and I, like kind of cut us out sometimes from, I don't know, feeling something or being like in the scene. Like some things just didn't last more than like a second. Oh, last night we watched The Zone of Interest. That was crazy. That was a crazy movie. I really, really thought that was amazing. Did you?
Yeah, but I had to take a break.
Yeah, we had to take a break. We did have to take a break in the middle, that's true. No. No. No, no need. No need. This is not going well. I should stop now. Ohad's about to teach a dance class on Zoom. Oh, you look good.
Just an experience I don't recommend to anyone, ever.
Stop. Get that money, make that money. Zone of Interest was like a big hit for me in the films that we watched this past week. And I now really want to see the other Jonathan Glazer film. I think it's called Under the Skin, which I haven't seen. Hi. Oh, I hope this is working. It's good, we're working. I was not very clear in the last clip. Long story short, we really enjoyed The Zone of Interest. It's just a crazy piece of filmmaking in my opinion, and like was so interesting to watch some interviews with some of like the crew, specifically like set design and light design and cinematography on that movie, and like how they didn't use any artificial light in the whole shoot, and like hid cameras in different places, and I don't know, it was just like, but anyway, it just was really intense, and but it was great. I have a reading update. Listen, I'm having a hard time getting through this book. So, If Only, Vigdis Hjorth, the book that I'm trying to get through in order to finish this vlog. I'm only at 60% now, and like, I really, really feel like it's a task to get through, because it's so repetitive, like this like crazed passion of our main character Ida and like their relationship. I'm just like, oh my god, this is so bad, this is so toxic, this is like a very bad relationship, like can't you see that he's like utter shit? And you are like, it's just like goes on and on and on and on and on. And I was talking to Kieran again about this book.
she was like, I feel like that's the kind of book that you need to stay in it. Like, if you take too many breaks, then it'll be really hard. And, like, that was my fault. I took too many breaks with this book. But I'm going to try to power through. But I did run across, like, one quote that I thought was nice. They may look like any other couple in love, but it's an optical illusion. For them, it is a matter of life or death, and it can be no other way. It is impossible to explain to those who haven't experienced it for themselves. And, like, that's kind of the general vibe, is, like, when you're so crazy in love that you think that, like, no one has ever been this in love in the whole world. And, like, the dramatics of being, like, so much infatuated with someone, especially when the relationship is not healthy, and it leans, like, much more on her, and yeah, this guy is just, I don't know how to explain it. He's just not a good guy. He's like a child in a man's kind of body, and she even asks herself at one point, like, is he gonna be the kid of this relationship forever? So yeah, I'm like 60 pages through. They're like going on all these different kind of like vacations together, or getting hotel rooms in different cities in order to see each other. And I'm ready for them to break up. I'm ready to move on. I mean, I am liking it still. But I just think, yeah, I did the wrong thing, which was, like, you should read it, like, go deep into that frenzy and, like, stay in it in order to, like, persevere through it, because that's hard right now. But anyway, 2 films that I don't think I spoke about yet. Hiccups. Hannah and Her Sisters. We enjoyed that, but Ohad fell asleep, and then I finished the last 20 minutes because I did kind of want to see where it went. But yeah, it wasn't like the most memorable movie, but yeah, we watched that, and then we watched Wicked Little Letters with Olivia Colman and Jessie Buckley. And we had fun, but we were like expecting it to be way more fun, and it's actually leans more into like the drama genre at one point, and instead of being kind of like ridiculously over the top, like funny. So yeah, we kind of wanted to, like, I was expecting to laugh more, but I love those 2 actresses so much, so it was still fun to watch. And there are some great curses in that movie. Okay, I think that's my update for now. I'm gonna try to finish this book, and then I'll catch you later, and I'll maybe wrap this up. Okay, bye. Okay, hello. We've reached our final clip of the vlog. It's this morning. What? Of course it's this morning. It's Friday morning. It's Friday, July 12th. We had a thunderstorm last night and into the morning, so Jacob, our puppy, is very nervous. And I stayed up until about 3 in the morning to finish, if only. So I have finished the book. I plowed through. I powered through. I'm very tired this morning because I barely slept. But I'm happy that I pushed through it. I'm happy I finished it like I said I would. I need help sometimes holding myself accountable for finishing things. And actually Renee did like a really great vlog about one vlog of finishing a bunch of things that she started, and I feel like that's such an Aries thing. Like, we need to hold ourselves accountable for finishing things. Would you agree? I'm reading Summerwater this morning, which I think is kind of perfect because it is in fact summer and it's raining today. So I feel like that's giving Scottish summer to just wrap up on If Only. Oh my god, I'm really just happy that I did it, happy that they fucking broke up eventually. And what in Psycho, this man Arnold is just like super, super emotionally and verbally abusive. This is like basically watching like an abusive relationship like just pan out over a span of years. I did make a note that I wanted to share. I wrote like the stories that we construct about love and our relationships and how we can build the narrative of them that is actually so different from reality or keeps us from seeing reality, and how we surrender ourselves sometimes. This is also really about like codependency, and like, yeah, just this character that wants to believe in love so badly, that it destroys her. If you like really crazy, frustrating relationships, I was literally so frustrated. If you like that, you'll like this book. It's very heterosexual, I wanted to say that. There's only one very small queer scene, but for the most part, it's a lot about a really toxic hetero relationship, so just know that. And really in the end, it's just like all about sex. Like everything is about sex, everything revolves around sex. It's like this toxic loop of like emotional abuse and then sex and wanting to leave and sex and experimenting with sex to try to save it and having sex with other people and him cheating on her all the time and her making excuses for him and then not eventually. And yeah, so anyway, that's it. I have nothing more to say about it. Thank you for watching this vlog. It was pretty long, and I think that I just haven't vlogged in a really long time, so I feel like I'll get better at it if I keep doing it more. And I'll remember kind of how to be more clear as I read a book over time. If you're gonna read this book, I suggest you don't take so much time with it. I would sit like for 2, maybe 3 at the max, like sittings to read this book. Okay, have a lovely weekend. I'm gonna try to upload this today on Friday, so have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.